All right, let's get it going right here, right now. This is TMI, and you're listening to episode number 9 of Too Much Information. If you didn't know by now, my name is Chad, and every single week I'm joined here by the host of TMI, the one and only Queen of Controversy, the vampire queen of controversy, who apparently hates everyone. She is one and only Miss Shelly Martinez, with whom I am absolutely dying to speak with because we have so much to talk about. But with all that being said, and we'll get into it here momentarily, how are you doing this week?
Dude, Jim Carrey gives me a headache and has stressed me the F out today. Okay, let me tell you something. So before recording with you, I was recording a segment for my Vampire Radio with my friend Chrissy Riviera, shout out. And we were just talking about, that was one of the topics we're talking about. And what's crazy, so you guys are going to have to tune in. This episode of Vampire Radio that this was going to go on is like number 4 on the list. But I think because Jim Carrey is like such the big deal right now, I had to bump it up to the next episode. So we're talking about it. And I have receipts. So if you want to see it happen when like we were recording it and it happened. So this is what happened. So she sent me the Jim Carrey thing. That's when I was like digging a little deeper, went down that rabbit hole of, is he a clone? What's going on with Jim Carrey? Because for those of you that may not know, Jim Carrey showed up to a award show in Paris, and some say he's very not recognizable, not just visually, but the way he was speaking, his body language, the whole night. So like, is he a clone? Is it even him? Like whatever. So of course I'm like looking at it at all sides, right? And I end up like just thinking about what I'm going to be talking about. And one of my gripes, spoiler alert, is I almost wanted to believe, okay, look, maybe he's gotten too much work done. And he just went overboard. He's one of these people because it happens. He's older now. And what if I could imagine being Jim Carrey's exhausting. So I could imagine him being like, I'm tired and too old. Like I'm here. So I was trying to give, or maybe he had some spiritual awakening. You never know. You never know. But even though I wanted to give him that benefit of doubt, like there was something weird about it. And then at the end of the interview, they say, what's your favorite silly face? And he goes, the one I'm wearing right now. And so I'm like, what do you, so see, now you're throwing the wrench in thing. And what Chrissy and I ended up realizing, as being our wrestling background and coming from the business, we can't be worked. That's why we get invested in things like this. We don't work me, brother, Jim Carrey. Don't you be trying to work me. So it's like this little extra chip on our shoulder. So right before we started recording, I go online to see if there's anything that's updated, right? And I saw this tweet this girl put out. I put it on my Twitter timeline. And she had said, did you see what Alexis Stone put? It was the Jim Carrey thing was all a social experiment. It was somebody else wearing like whatever. So then I was tripping out. And so this was like 5 minutes before Chrissy and I go to record. We go to record. I'm talking about it. And I go to bring up on the share screen here on StreamYard, because, you know, I love StreamYard. Shout out to StreamYard. Thank you for making all my podcast dreams come true.
Love you, StreamYard.
So when I went to share the screen and I went to the link, it said it was gone. But if you click on it for like 1 second, you see the old thing for like a second, right, and then it goes away. And so I'm just like, you know what? Jim Carrey, I used to love him in Living Color. But for the most part, Jim Carrey in his movies and on red carpets and in interviews stresses me out. And that makes me not like him. So it makes it harder for me to watch something when someone's like, no, he's not being like that guy. Like, he's really good in this movie. It's hard for me to be open to see it because he gets on my nerves. It's too much. So first of all these years, he's been stressing me out. And now he's stressing me out even more because I have to know what the F's going on over there.
Yeah. And he also is super outspoken about weird things in Hollywood and stuff that's gone down on the backside. And now he comes out very mysterious. And, you know, I thought, and I've seen a few pictures that looked very similar, he looked like Val Kilmer, how Val Kilmer looked towards the end. I know Val Kilmer also, I think he had cancer, but he
Mhm.
looked like Val Kilmer did with the longer hair, but a little, you know, pudgier top of his forehead. Like, I don't know, he looked like Val Kilmer. And it was just weird. I don't know. But that, I mean, look, the clone thing, whatever. I don't know. But his cadence and the way he talked was a little different. And I don't know. It was weird. I mean, but I think we're all just looking for the next. Is this the replacement? Is this the clone? Is this
Let me
this?
put my
Is this that?
tinfoil hat on
There,
here.
that is the perfect tinfoil hat. It looks good. I like it. Matches
So
your
here's
shirt
the
well.
thing. I debuted it on this when I was recording with Chrissy. So again, look out for Vampire Radio soon. So the thing is, there's a whole rabbit hole about this Val Kilmer thing and soul exchanging. If you want to go there, look it up. Don't come for me. I am just telling you what's out there. Okay, I didn't say it. So there's that. You know, there's admitting to cloning. You can go down that rabbit hole. You can go down the rabbit hole that it's somebody wearing a mask, because that's been going on for a long time too. And these are all things that if you look up, you see that there is proof to some of these things. So that's why it's kind of scary. We don't know which one it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just one, it could be any of them, to be honest with you. But the thing that also bothers me, and this is part of my stressed outness about Jim Carrey, is for years he's been looked at as this like whistleblower, do-gooder, exposing he tried to warn us. But I'm sorry, what did he have to do for his spot? Because he had to do something.
Yeah, I mean, he's been around since the 80s.
Allegedly, if all the stories are true,
you're right.
If all the stories are true, including the ones that he says, and then it goes back to, and I have to look this word up because I talk about this all the time and I can't remember what it is. But look it up. Don't come for me. I just got my tinfoil hat on over here, people. Look it up. It's there. There's a way that people who do things that they shouldn't be doing for gaining power or fame or whatever, they have to make it right karmatically. So that's why they always say, oh, they put it in our face now. They have to do, it's part of the ritual. Look, I'm just wearing my hat. Don't come for me. It's part of the ritual, allegedly. Thank you. So that's what bothers me is like I know he was on Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, come on, Jimmy, you know the signs. He has to be so erratic, and Jim Carrey and stressing me out about it. So he's just never come out as trustworthy to me. And I hate that he gets put, all of them. Justin Bieber's another one. I feel sorry for what they put that kid through when he was a kid. His parents sold him off. But here's the thing, to continue to be the Justin Bieber he is today, he's had to do things too. But everyone wants to say, oh, poor Justin Bieber. And I agree, it's terrible. But there comes a point where you have a choice, like we talked about last week with Janelle Grant. You have a choice to conform or to no longer conform. And 9 times out of 10, when you no longer conform, you no longer get access to the things that you would if you would conform. That's why it's a choice. And that's why with certain things, I'm not here to judge anybody because that's on them. But it bothers me when even you have like a Justin Bieber or a Jim Carrey that are, oh, they try to warn us, but look, no. So it bothers me.
Yeah, Carrie, you're exactly right. I mean, look, he was around. He's been around since the early 80s. TV, movies, always starring, always a side guy, always on something. He was on Johnny Carson. I mean, he's been around forever. But then, he's telling us this stuff. He was involved with the Isaac Cappy conspiracy theory, all the things with his girlfriend who committed suicide. I shouldn't have said that. Unalived herself. And then, that's shared all over social media. We see that every day in an ad. So I agree with you. He's definitely he's just a good representation. And I'll look at it too. Like we look back in the day, how come there's never been another Ace Ventura? How come there's never been another Mask movie? And those could have made millions and billions and trillions of dollars, but he's put out such pieces of shit movies over the last 10 years because he just does what the system needs him to do now. So I agree with you. There's definitely something more to the rubber-faced Jim Carrey, who they just throw out there, make a couple funny faces, and you're all good.
It's the whole thing stresses me out, so I'm just like over it. So that's why I'm just like, I need a shot. It's Sunday Fun Day. I have my Daria shirt on. I hate everyone.
What do you got?
I just got some. What kind of vodka is this? I forget which one this is. It might just be a generic one, like Seagrams or something like that. But I have it in my Back to the Future shot glass, the 40th anniversary shot glass.
No, I just pulled a just empty, regular, no fun shot glass. It's just a plain old blank.
That's fine.
Nothing fun down here.
Oh, we have so many.
You told me quick, so I grabbed something.
We're like shot people here. Like we like to collect the shot glasses, so I like to bust them out on camera.
Oh, I got some good ones, but look, I got Silver Patron over here.
Ooh.
So
well, happy Sunday Fun Day, Chad. Cheers to TMI.
Happy Sunday Fun Day. Cheers to TMI. Oh boy, we're gonna feel that one in a little bit.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, speaking of TMI is in the news a little bit, huh? Hold on one second.
Oh my gosh.
Let's do a little bit of this.
Holy crap. Holy crap.
Again. Oh, we need the explosion. TMI in the freaking news like wildfire. And I'll put it here on the screen. Yes, that's the entertainment category. Yes, ex-WWE star Shelly Martinez attacks Janelle Grant in heated videos. That, my friends, is the top of the entertainment category that we just blew the frig up over that story. Like, I could not believe that I was forced to take down the tweet of the promotion of the video. So let's just go back to the beginning when we recorded the video, and we'll go down the timeline from there.
Look, I already knew it was going to get around. I knew it. But to the degree it did, and like one person put like, you need to die. And I'm just like,
there was a big die, D-I-E.
Like, and so here's what's interesting. Because, as I've talked about many times here on TMI, I am just a bottle full of trauma that I just try to truck on through. And so because of my trauma responses, maybe I said it a little too much. Maybe I did say some things that were disrespectful, or maybe I could have looked at it in a different way. And so then when the video premiered and I was in the chat room, as I like to try to do whenever we put out our episode and it's a premiere, I was like, dude, I stand by every single freaking thing I just said. Like, what are these people talking? I'm talking about the negative comments. It's like people misquoting me, or like people just like, I don't even think they really watched it. Or if they did, here's the thing, they already went into it with what they thought they were going to think about it. Or they saw that what I was saying didn't align with what they thought was right. So instead of that being like, oh, maybe she's got a good point, or, oh, I didn't see it that way, but I still don't agree. They're like, you should die because I said what I said about Janelle Grant. Okay. And then people bringing in Ashley freaking Massaro, man, that really pissed me off. I no-sold it, so I didn't interact with anybody. But when people were like, how would Ashley Massaro feel about what you said? And my first thing, Chad, I said in my head, she would be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you called out Janelle Grant. Good for you, girl. That's what she would say. She would be laughing, like, I can't believe you said that you think she should get her butt kicked. Like, she would be like, holy crap. That's what she would say. But I wasn't going to waste my time with people who, I said it before and I'm going to say it again. People can only meet you where they can meet you. And these people that were trying to give me these low blows, whoever they are, it's like, gag me with a spoon, because either someone put you up to it for some weird agenda, or hold on.
Oh, there's
either somebody put you up to it for some weird agenda. That could be the case. Or if you're somebody that just doesn't know what the F you're talking about, I don't really care what you think. What would Ashley say to Shelly? I know what she would say, because guess what? She was my friend. And I had the relationship that I had with her. And so I'm not going to sit there and like defend that to people who I don't really care if you get it or not, to be honest. Because if you're going to come at me with that energy, automatically, I don't care. I don't care what your thoughts are. I don't care what your little opinion is, because the way you're going about it, I don't converse with people that vibrate on that low of a frequency.
Well, one, who the fuck is Shelly Martinez? Two, Shelly is the one who needs her ass beat for saying that. The audacity must be on sale, because what the fuck? Justice for Janelle. These are some of the comments that were said. I mean, you would think that these people were Janelle's like close family members, the way they were. I used to like Shelly from Cali and followed her, but due to her ignorant ass comments about Janelle Grant, she just lost a follow and a listener of her podcast just because she was/is a fucking ring rat and probably gladly went along with Vince's shit. Hashtag boycott.
Let me tell you something about that. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Like, I embrace if I'm wrong about something, please let me know, okay? So is what I've learned from being 17 years in the professional wrestling business is a ring rat is somebody that is not in the business, and they go show up to the shows and they show up to the conventions and to the airports and this and that, and hopes to catch the eye of whatever wrestler they have a crush on. And then if they can, they hook up with them, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
The first time I ever hooked up with somebody that was in wrestling, I was already in the wrestling business. Now I'm thinking back to pre-WWE, because I was thinking at the time, WWE, let's go even further for those little fact checkers out there. So the first time I ever dated a wrestler was when I had my first little wrestling boyfriend at the wrestling school that I was at, because we were both wrestlers. We're training together. It happens. It's like high school, right? But as far as like the professional standpoint comes, WWE, the first time I ever had been with a ring rat person or whatever. No, I was already in the business. I was around them because I was about to get hired with WWE, or I was training with these people. It wasn't me seeking these people out, and I'm not in the business. I'm not the groupie. Now, I've been a groupie in other ways to like people not in the wrestling business, but that's besides the point. So when people want to say that I'm a ring rat, I'm not that definition. Anyone I've hooked up with in wrestling is because I shared a locker room with them, because I shared a ring with them, because that's just what's going to happen. That's my social life. That's my work life. That's my everything life. That's why so many wrestlers hook up with like, oh, I've hooked up with that person. So have I. So have I. That's why it happens. So, no, I'm actually not a ring rat. Thank you very much.
Nope. They're ignorant. Again, these people don't know what they're talking about.
They don't.
They're talking about, and in one case too, I mean, look, Janelle, when we talk about Janelle losing her job, okay, the relationship with Vince started because they lived in the same building, Okay. It grew into her getting a job as a paralegal in WWE. Thus, then all the stuff with the payments and then using the company funds, blah, 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 blah. It started off as she needed a job, lived in the same building as Vince. They started their liaison and whatever, and blah, 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 blah. So she wasn't like just the helpless secretary in the building who was getting preyed on by the boss. She started off as a little side piece that then got freakier and freakier, and Vince liked it, put her on the payroll, and then it continued. So again, she's no innocent party in any of this, which is what you explained, and that she liked it, and she could have taken herself out. And there are people that did side with you, but there are people who called you the C word. There are people who accuse you of siding with pedophiles. There are people that said that this just basically sealed the deal, that you and Vince McMahon had a relationship because you side with him. I mean, this went from one. I got called a shitload of names myself because I side with you. I mean, this went from 0 to, I even said, because then when I posted that, hey, YouTube or Twitter made me take the post down because somebody reported it. And I quite frankly, honestly said, and I still feel this way, I was shocked that it got that response, because all it was a promotion of a video. And then somebody had said, well, you're that was dumb because you're promoting, the defamation of sex trafficking survivors, something of that ilk. I still stand by the fact that I cannot believe it got taken down. We didn't do anything except state the obvious. So it was a hell of a 48 hours after that video was posted.
Look, let me tell you something. Another thing that you probably saw was people thinking that I'm trying to get my job back with WWE, and that's why I'm over
that's
here.
That's another one.
Now, to those people, and I was on the Monty and Pharaoh show the other day, and I said it before, and I'm going to say this again. Are you crazy? Look, I know I look cute. I'm not as fat as I was last year at this time of year, and I'm very grateful for that. But I'm still, compared to when I was like the size that I feel comfortable in, that whatever, where you saw me in my independent circa in my 30s, that's how I should be looking right now. And I don't. So in my head, I consider that fat. Are you out of your mind that you think I'm going to get a job with WWE when I'm the weight that Johnny A said, you have such a beautiful face, you need to drop 30 pounds. And I said he was right. I'm right back there. Okay. So are you out of your mind? I'm not a TV ready. Like, what? There's that.
Right here, bitch, them folks is not going to hire you back. That's a comment I'm looking at right here.
And I'm not looking for it. And then secondly, in 2017, I retired from professional wrestling and said I would only come out of retirement for Lucha Underground and WOW. So I put a lot of thought, because wrestling was my everything, man. My everything. So it wasn't on a whim I was going to just retire from wrestling, because I also didn't want it to, no offense, be somebody that retires a whole bunch of times and like it's like almost a joke. Everyone has their own journey and own reasons, not knocking it. I just didn't want to be that. I didn't strive for that. I thought to myself, when I want to retire, I'm going to retire. And one of the things I asked myself is this worth it anymore? And I said, no. The only way it's worth it is to get paid WWE money, and I don't want to go work there. So I guess I'm going to retire. So I did. And so what's really cool about retiring, even though I miss it and it's been a very hard transition and there's been a lot of depression in there and like a whole journey that took me down a dark path. Now I'm more than ever. I'm like, how cool is it that I'm actually not in the business? So I have nothing to lose to say my opinion and lend my voice and my opinion as somebody that's been in the business and had a career in it for 17 years. I think that's pretty cool that I don't feel like I'm going to get in trouble, especially because I'm a trauma girl. My trauma response, I'm going to get in trouble. I don't feel I have to get in trouble. I don't have to wait for anyone's approval. I don't have to walk on eggshells because I'm not in that world anymore. I don't work there anymore, man. I just don't. So, to me, these people, it's like so eye rolling and laughable that they think that I'm trying to get my job back when it's like, no, I chose. The business wasn't like you're washed up, there's no money for you here. I chose because I didn't like the vibe anymore. I chose to get out. Unless it was Lucha Underground or WoW. So it's beyond me. And then the other thing is, at the end of the day, there are 2 people in my personal life that their opinion of me is really, at the end of the day, the only opinions I care about. So when people think that I'm like this soft ass bitch that's gonna get all butthurt about something that was posted to me on Twitter, gag me with a spoon real quick. Are you new here? No, that's not me. I come from the 909. We don't roll that way. So bottom line is, all these people are wasting their time if they're not bots, trying to harass me and whatever. And thanks for the views, by the way. Thank you. It's people like you that help people like us grow a channel. Yeah. So thank you very much.
I mean, I just say right here, one, I will take the phone call if WWE called me back. I would take that phone call in a heartbeat. Okay, change careers back in a heartbeat. Secondly, 100%. We talked about it at the end of the last show last week. Other podcasters that shit on other podcasters. Well, here it is, only 9 weeks in, and we were a top trending story in entertainment. So what do you have to say about that? I mean, here it is, and it was a number one story that everybody and their freaking mother was talking about in wrestling podcasting. And we just put out one video preview of the next show that didn't come out for almost a week. And there you go. It was, and what pissed me off the most, and I'll share it to you, my TMI, was that I was pissed. I had to delete my tweet while other videos got 40,000 views on them and 160,000 impressions on Twitter when my fucking video got 40,000 impressions on them. So, and I had to delete mine, but they got to keep theirs up. So that was my thing I was pissed off about for the week. But whatever, you live and learn. Again, we're new. We're 9 weeks in, and here we are. We were a number one trending story on X within 9 weeks.
And you know what goes back to what I said last week as well is that's why there's no magic formula. When it's your time, it's your time. And even though I didn't think it was a big deal, I knew it was going to ruffle feathers. I didn't realize how many feathers. But to me, it's like, I wasn't like, even though I had some harsh words to say, it wasn't like I was sitting there calling her these names and trying to whatever, because that's not what I'm about. Like I said last week, I always want to be on the woman's side, always. So it sucks when I can't trust that source and it's a woman. It's like, come on, dudes are supposed to be shady, not you, girl. Yeah. So like, I didn't say anything out of line. I didn't say anything that was wrong. People can agree or disagree. That's fine. Like I'm one person and we all have our different opinions, but like, no, dude, like it's so crazy to me that people just, they want to fight. And the point in case is I got sent this link for these 2 dudes that did a video on our video about Janelle. And when I watched it, I was just like, first of all, they misquoted me. The one guy, here's my gripe. The one guy that has an accent, I don't know if it's British or what, but the one guy, he goes, well, apparently back in the day, word on the street, I mean, could be wrong, but she, had a romantic thing with Batista. And it's like, if they claim that they did this research on me, right? And so if you do your research, because TMI has been thriving and it's new, that's one of the first things you're going to find. So you're going to find the
Yeah,
Batista
literally.
story.
Episode 2. It's right there.
You're going to find the Batista story. And not only that, the one other dude, he was like, oh, well, Kevin Thorne himself said that to me, that she was hard to work with. And it's like, if you also do a search on me, Vampire Radio is going to pop up. And what did I do? I did an interview with the vampire. And me and Kevin talked about all of that. Not only that, Vampire Radio is on the Monty and the Pharaoh channel. They clipped it to where if you just want to watch the interview part and not just that part, not the whole rest of the Vampire Radio. So there's all these resources. And then not only that, but there's resources that here on our freaking show, which is like, I say this because it's new. So it's like right there. I talked about shaming myself for the past, what I've had to do for money. And I've talked about what that's done for me, all these different things. And then the takeaway I took from these people's videos, or this video they did about me and Janelle Grant, is they were picking me apart without doing proper research, in my opinion. And the one guy was like, oh, me and my wife did research, and we wanted to have her here on our show once because people wanted to see her, and she's a believer in Christ, but me and my wife looked it up, and I don't know that she's a believer in Christ. And it's like the judgment. And so it's like, my takeaway, so my whole point is even with these like people who have a platform and they have a show and they decided to take me apart and be part of that negative energy, instead of being like, we don't agree with her, but let's have her on and talk about it. Let's see. So maybe we can see that side or something like that, or see whatever. And then I could have filled in the blanks and been like, well, I guess you didn't watch the whole thing. I talked about how I was willing to be a girl in Dubai. Like, I'm admitting these things.
Yeah.
That
you're full. You let it all out there.
That I've never talked about publicly, because I'm fine being open and honest and sharing that transparency, because because my point was, I understood Janelle Grant, and these dudes, they were like, just like, we found, it's like, ew, like, what are you, a couple marks? So like, ew. And so to me, it's interesting because going back to that video that we were talking about last week, and then other podcasters that trash other ones, they're over here and they're supposed to be, I guess, a godly channel, but yet they're being so worldly, they're being so judgmental, not welcoming. And if they look at me as this like prostitute online, then what happened when the prostitute went to go wash Jesus's feet? All the other people judged her, like those two dudes were throwing at me, and Jesus was like, no, come in here. You come here. You guys stay out there, by the way, because you can't handle this and you're being ugly. So you stay out there, and I'm going to have my moment with this girl because she just wants to feel my love. That's the deal. But those dudes, you two guys and the wife, you to me are those people that Jesus kicked out and was like, you can't handle this. I'm trying to show you something and teach you something, but you're so busy judging over here and you don't even know what you're talking about and why she came here on her knees to wash my feet. But that's just me. There's a side note, but to the point. I was always very proud of this fun, cute little match I had in CW of Hollywood. I talked about it a million times. I have it on my channel. But for whatever reason, mine has so little views, but everyone else covering it, when they take the footage from my camera, they get all the views. Or if I talk about something, people clip it, they put it on their channel. Like, I can't even tell you how many times I've made fun of my botch spot for TNA when I say my vag and all that. And to me, I'm thinking, I can laugh at myself. So this is hilarious. People are going to be like, holy shit, I can't believe she's making fun of herself and I'm going to get the views. No, but when people clip it, they get the views. And then when I talk about certain things, just like you experience, I've had things where I get in violations. One of the reasons why my YouTube channel is demonetized is I always say, oh, they changed some things or whatever, but somebody was putting some strikes on my things, whatever. It is what it is.
We're getting there.
It is what it is.
We'll be there very shortly with the success of TMI.
But my point is that you are now experiencing my creative career.
I've never had a tweet pulled in 14 years on Twitter until last week.
It's because you're guilty by association, and it's me. I'm sorry to break it to you.
I don't give a shit. Bring it on. I say bring it on, but I will say this too. In the thing about these guys, Martin Stone and whatever Master Imar or
Master.
Emir, okay, whatever. Martin Stone was a WWE NXT UK NXT guy. He went under the name Danny Burch. I think I might have interviewed Danny Burch twice on my original podcast. I wouldn't necessarily say he'd be a lead candidate to have a podcast from my memory, and that's not a knock. He's just not a guy I would think would be a podcast host. But that's like, I wouldn't think he'd be trashing people. It's not the impression that I got from him, that they would be speaking negatively. And then for the other guy to say, like, let's just say for argument's sake that, and I know Kevin, probably my best friend in the world right now, Kevin Fertig. Let's just say in a moment of weakness, maybe he said something negative about you at some point in his life and said it to this master guy. What a bitch that he would say that on the air. What kind of a wrestler with no name is going to do that other than trying to make himself look like a big dog in front of Martin Stone? What a little pussy boy. Like that. I can't believe that. Right?
That's a good point.
What worker is going to tell what another worker who has 3 times more experience than him is going to reveal a name on a podcast that nobody's watching? I just had to look at the views. Why would you do? What a bitch.
And here's my thing. Bitch. Okay. You make such a freaking good point, and I didn't even think about that. So let's go back a few minutes ago before you made that point, and I wasn't thinking of it in those terms, right? Okay, so you say, I guarantee you Kevin's talked a lot of crap about me. We both talked about how we both talked a lot of crap to each other's face and behind each other's back. It's fine. But where my gripe is Master threw in there that he and his wife were trying to do some research on me because they were interested in having me on their podcast. This is how they framed it. I could be wrong, but the way they framed it was, oh, we were going to have her on our podcast. And so we were doing a little research, and that's when we found some stuff. She's not being very godly. And then that's when the Kevin Furte comment came out. So it's like, if you were doing real research and not just trying to dig actively for dirt, for views, because I put asses in seats, they most definitely, if Kevin Furte, he is his BFF and told him that, maybe he should have checked out that video of when I interviewed him when we talked about all these things. And we talked about our point of view or where we both were coming from. And in that same interview, along with TMI episodes, I've talked about numerous times I never hooked up with Batista. He's not, no offense to Batista, he has zero my type, first of all. Zero. So you guys are like bossing me to have this weird, fake, never happened relationship with somebody that I had no attraction to whatsoever.
Yeah, I literally said that. Sorry to interrupt. I literally said that when I asked you the question. I said the perception is out there you two had a relationship, but put the rumor to rest about that you didn't, and you went on the whole thing. It's literally episode 2 of TMI.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think we even put out a teaser clip of that.
Yes.
Like it's not just it's not just you can be lazy and just watch that little clip and then hear that part, not watch the rest of the, like that's what I'm saying. So the detail that Master and his wife did research on me because they were interested in having me on their show because I'm a godly woman. They didn't, like, it's not even like you have to dig hard. It's all there. The thumbnail says it. So if you're curious, and then the other dude, the British guy, like he's over there saying, well, word on the street. If you guys didn't do your research, it's right there. And the thing is, Chad, What their point was is that I didn't watch the whole Janelle video and I didn't have my facts straight and I don't know what I'm talking about. So literally everything they said about me with as regards to the Janelle thing is what they did to me regarding me. And it's like, and they try to bring Kevin into it as a receipt. And it's just like, wow, the timing is so interesting because you can't even write this. Like it looks like a work. It looks like a work almost. It's like the timing couldn't be even better.
So I guess we could look at it like this way. So whereas you're getting accused of being on Vince McMahon's side because, oh, well, you must have had a relationship with Vince McMahon. Looks like somebody might be a little jealous that Vince never gave them any attention when either somebody was in WWE, Martin Stone, Danny Burch, or the other guy either never got a look or maybe never got a dark match or anything like that. Maybe he's a little jelly. And now we're going to take Janelle's side because we hate Vince. Maybe
oh my
that's
gosh,
it.
You just triggered something into me. Oh my freaking goodness. Okay, so you saying that, okay, something I said on the Monty and Farrell channel was Master, the way this is just my opinion. The way he came off to me is he's very like sitting in his chair and it's all like he just wants to like a ticking time bomb. That's how his energy came off to me. I could be wrong, but as a viewer, that's how it came off. So you saying that, every effing dude I've ever came crossing paths with in my wrestling journey, whether it was at the beginning, middle, or the end, that had that around me when they would talk to me, they were jealous ass bitches of me. And they always thought I only got booked because I was a hot chick with big boobs and I shake my ass. And they were extra haters when they would see me in the ring training with people and or going over a match or watching my bomb ass matches that I was having. And then that it's like, well,
yeah,
fine,
you see it in
fine.
his posturing. He's
yes,
got his
dude.
His he's got his little tanky on there. He's got the slick back hair there. He looks like he's ready to go. Spray some IcoPro all over himself or something. Like he's
if he wants,
you are 100% on the money.
If he wants to have a ponytail, you have a ponytail. I'm not hating on it. If you want to wear a tank top, I'm not hating on that. It's
no. It's just
the vibe.
He's supposed to be like the vibe. He's supposed to be like a Christian man here.
Here's the thing.
Very holy.
As I've said over and over and over, and I will continue to. I love God so much, but I know this is how I look in a tank top. And some people don't like the way I look like in a tank top. So that's why I'm not even going to criticize the tank top wearing.
I got nothing on the tank. I wasn't even meaning it like that. I mean, it's just funny. He looks like he's wearing almost like a singlet the way it's positioned on him.
I'm just for those haters out there, because
who hates on a tank top though? Who's
hating on a tank top?
Oh.
So it's the vibe for me that guy. You know what I'm talking about? It's him because I know he's going to be watching this. Maybe he'll be doing a little research to see what we've said. So it's not because he could be like, what about show? That's what it is. I have him and Master. Let's hold on, Master. I'm gonna take this moment right now and talk to you, okay? Because I've had some time to think about this. I get it. But what I don't get is how you brought God into it. That's the thing. If you're saying whatever for views, fine. If you're saying whatever because you want those views and you want to be on Janelle's side and you want to say and misquote me and have your facts wrong, fine. That's fine. Videos need something for views, right? But once you bring in the judgment, that's ugly. And it doesn't even affect me. And I've prayed for you and your wife and whatever the energy is that you guys have been trying to throw at me. Because at the end of the day, I know I'm solid with my relationship with the Lord. And those times that I've slipped and I made some poor decisions, I always knew it was me, but God used me in those situations. And that's my testimony. And I help people. I don't have to go online and share about it or whatever. It happens when it happens and I don't have to say anything. So you actually don't know what you're talking about. And it sucks because there's people out there that go to look, especially online these days, for people that, oh, I want to listen to this podcast because they're believers in the Lord. Great. And then you're throwing that out, and then you could be pushing people away. So you want to bring the Lord into it? I didn't really feel God's love from you then. And maybe you could sit around and say, well, I didn't feel it when you're talking about the Janelle Grant thing. Well, because I was just talking my truth and my opinion because I was asked. And that's what I do for a living. Just like you make your videos, and that's what maybe part of what you do for a living. Cool. I get it. But once you bring God into it, man, you're crossing a line and you're acting very worldly, and it sucks and it's disheartening. And that's what makes me not like you. Not that you disagree with what I said about Janelle Grant, that you set out to exploit me and to exploit people for views. That's not very Christian.
Yeah. The Masters of Wrestling, the official home of collaborative podcasts, Power and Glory, the podcast, starring Paul Roma, Mario Mancini, and the Master Emir. Copyright. They have a little copyright symbol there.
All right.
Stylin, starring Rico Constantino, the Master Emir, and Pastor Andy. Masterclass, starring the Master Emir, copyright, and the Bodacious Suave, the Fixer Martin Stone, and Sin Bodhi. Okay.
Oh my gosh. So Sin Bodhi is like, especially good friends with his wife, but I've been friends with Sin forever, since OVW days. And Rico, I freaking love. And that's so crazy that they're mixed up with these dudes. I'm going to ask Sin about them.
Yeah, the Master of Wrestling, Victory, Power and Glory, the podcast, Stylin', Hey Roma, Masterclass, The Ultimate Truth, Master Fix, and Master Lock. Copyright 2025. Haven't updated their tagline there. All rights reserved. #explore. Wow, what a network! This is a powerhouse that we're talking about here. I'm starting to get a little nervous that we're
the powerhouse over there. That's why it's interesting. Okay, you're taking your SH to the next level. Okay, cool. So why aren't you doing the proper research? Before you and I come on here, we discuss what we're going to talk about. We both dive into what we're going to talk about, and we discuss throughout the week these things. We do our research, and I wouldn't even have had such a problem with it if he didn't go out of his way to say that little remark of that he and his wife, it had to be with his wife, not just when I was doing it, me and my wife, we were doing research. And I would have gladly, if they were like acted more kindly about it, but yet confused and still didn't agree, I would have gladly went on their show and like let them know my point of view and what I've been through and this, that, and the other. And another thing I said the other night was, it's so like whatever, dude, because at the end of the day, most people's things that they're ashamed of, that they keep those skeletons in the closet.
right.
And I'm somebody who I knew very early on when I started my content creating career in 2008, but 2009 more full time. I knew my purpose was to share my life. So I don't really care if people want to like judge me like that. When like, dude, I snitched on myself. These things are out there. You think I don't know what's out there? Like, I know what's out there. I maybe didn't directly put it out there, but I put certain content out there. I know exactly. Like, it's not news to me. And I talk about it. Every week I come on here, failed OnlyFans model, because I am. And I think it's funny, but it's also a statement. And that's why every single week on here and on other podcasts I do, like for like ever since I quit OnlyFans, which has been a few years now, that's always my thing. Go look at other podcasts. You'll see it always says failed OnlyFans because it's making a statement. So I would have gladly brought, and you know what? That story would have got them views.
Probably.
That would have got them views and talking about how they could have even teased it. Oh, we disagree with Shelly Martinez and we had it out on our show. We could have totally did something, but instead they got mean and nasty, and I don't want to deal with that.
Don't worry about it. I mean, they still have the Power and Glory podcast with Paul Roma, but he's doing the podcast from his car. And now Martin Stone is also on the podcast. Looks like he's doing it from his room, and it looks like it needs to be a little tidied up. So Martin Stone, a little less podcasty, a little more cleany next time you go to do a recording session. But what a hell of a week for TMI, huh? 9 weeks in, already trending, already making friends across the podcast interwebs. I mean, this has been a hell of a start for us so far.
It's crazy. And here's the thing. There's something that I mentioned to you that I was waiting to share today on our show. It's a story I've never told before. I told bits of it, but not the full story. And it kind of ties in with this. And here we go. I know some people would say I shouldn't share this story fully because haters, but whatever. So here we go. Yes. Here we go. For a little extra TMI. So it was in the year 2007. I had just moved back to California, so I wasn't here that long after I got fired from WWE. I can't remember exactly when I got fired, but I know I stayed in Louisville for a couple months and then I head back to California. So on that journey because I drove back with my mini pinchers, Fred and Ethel Mertz, rest in peace. We drove from Kentucky to California, and on that drive, I was going back and forth with TNA. And before I left Kentucky, they had some show that was like drivable nearby, and I went, and that's when I kind of connected with them for the first time. And it's really interesting. This is something I've never talked about, and I actually need to ask Homicide about this because I'm so confused. But there was this like makeup artist girl there, and word on the street was they were going to make her be the manager of LAX. So
really,
yeah. I found this out like before, because when I went to TNA to that show, I was still under my 90-day no complete clause, but I wasn't doing anything. I was just invited backstage, right? To
you ready for the date? I got the date. You were released on May 18th, 2007.
Oh, okay. May 18th, 2007. Okay, that's a good date to remember. Okay. I should write it down, but I don't have a pen. But anyways, so I went to the show. And originally, I was trying to pitch to Terry Taylor that I would be managing Frankie Kazarian because, as I've said a million times, is when I first started here in SoCal, the first wrestling school I went to, Frankie Kazarian, Rocky Romero, Ricky Reyes, and Iceman John Black, and a little bit of TJ Perkins is who really took the time to train me. Like, and I trained with them a lot and went out of my way to go to extra training. So Frankie was somebody I really respected from the very beginning of my career. And he was always super cool to me. Like, oh, we have a lot in common, whatever. So to me, I thought it'd be kind of cool that full circle of being able to manage him at TNA. And then at that time, I had kept in touch with Frankie when I was in OVW because I remember hearing stories that when he was under contract with WWE, how unhappy he found himself and this and that. So I really went to him when I had those moments. And I'd be like, Frankie, oh my gosh, and hey, master and wife, going back to God, I knew Frankie was somebody that prayed and things like that. So he was a cool person to go to when it was like that. So it was the full circle. But then they kept saying this thing about like, oh, me and LAX, which I thought was cool because I kind of already had that under my radar. If Ariel ever was no more, it'd be cool to be with them. So then I kept hearing, oh, the makeup artist is supposed to be with them. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to push this Frankie thing. So when I left for OVW to back to California, it was that in-between stage, and it was in September, and in October they were going to have the pay-per-view, the one I debuted at Oh my gosh, I see it in my head, the flyer, but I can't remember what it's called. The one they have in, anyways, the big one that they have in October. So I was back and forth with Terry Taylor, whatever. And so I started thinking like this back and forth is like too much. So maybe I should try something else. So when I got here to California, I got this audition to audition at Playboy Studios, and they were going to have this show where it was going to be on one of their channels, and it would be like, oh, you go travel to like this romantic destination, and like you talk about how to make it a romantic evening or whatever. So like, oh, you draw a bath and put petals or blah, blah, blah. So I was auditioning for that, and I got really far in the process to where I was on this street. I was on Ventura Boulevard. Ventura Boulevard. There's a reason why it's in that song. And I went to my audition, and they were like, okay, well, can you block off these weeks in October? And so at that point, Terry Taylor had told me he wasn't sure if they were just going to Bound for Glory. That's what it was.
So this says here that your debut appearance was on an Impact. Shelly Martinez made her TNA debut in late 2007, acting as a valet for Tag Team LAX. Her official, all right, never mind. Sorry, your in-ring debut was on Impact against Awesome Kong.
Oh, okay.
Bound for Glory is the October show. Yes.
And so at this point, Terry Taylor was like, we have a pay-per-view coming up. We have something in mind for you. And this is right before I'm going into this audition for Playboy. He's like, we're going to, we have this idea for you, but we're not sure if that's the way we're going to go. So I'm going to get back to you. So I'm thinking, what is going on? Like, why can't TNA just like hire me? And so I'm like, screw it. If Playboy offers me this, maybe I should just take it, because it was a good amount of money, like whatever, to travel. And the thing is like, there really wasn't much nudity to it, because it was more like, hi, now this is, oh, and if you want to go da. So I was like all about it, and I wanted to be a part of that universe, as I've talked about on here a bunch of times. Right. So,
and that was peak 2007 was huge.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so it was a big deal. Big high profile people
coming off WWE too.
Exactly. Maria, Ashley, Candace, like it was like the girls of my era. It wasn't just the Tori Wilsons anymore. You know what I'm saying? It was like
right.
It was a thing. It was mainstreamed. It was the Playboy universe at that time was very like it was on E, the Girls Next Door. It was I don't want to say family friendly, but like, you know, it was more just mainstream.
No, but it was more of a brand, I think, than it had really ever been. It was everywhere.
So I thought this is my big break. I'm not going to blow it again for wrestling, because my whole life I blow everything off for wrestling. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I went, and they're like, can you block this off? I was like, well, I'm waiting back from this phone call from wrestling. And the guy got mad. I remember he threw his pen. He goes, so do you want to do this gig, or are you still a wrestler? I thought you said you were like, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I don't know. He's like, okay, well, it's between you and one other girl. So you let me know by the end of the day if we're going to move forward to choose between you guys or whatever. And I was like, dude, this is a big freaking deal. So then I go to my car, and I'm in my car. And this is the part that the only person I ever told was freaking Frankie Kazarian. Oh my gosh, I didn't think about it till right now. It's Frankie Kazarian and my sister. So I'm in the car, and I'm just like, what do I do? And I'm just sitting in there. And then Terry Taylor calls me. And he was like, okay, so here's the thing. We really want to see you with LAX. So do you have like clothes that you can wear that like with LAX? And to me, I'm like, this is crazy, because when I was Ariel and I was not having problems with Batista, like everything was fine. I was like job security, no drama. I would work out at Louisville Athletic Club, and I would watch TNA, and I would see LAX, and I'd be like, dude, if anything ever happened to Ariel, it'd be cool to be with them. And this is how I dress. This is how I'd walk. This is how I would wrestle. This is how I would be. And so as I was doing cardio, and then I'm like, dude, I'm crazy, dude. I'm just psychotic. Like, I'm Ariel. This is my like dream job. What? And so when Terry Taylor told me this on Ventura Boulevard, after I left that Playboy audition office, I was like, yes, I have outfits that can go with that. Absolutely. Yeah. And he was like, so we want to try something out at the pay-per-view. And if we like it, then we may want to offer you a contract. But he didn't say for sure yet. And so I was still in that limbo. And then all of a sudden, this dude's tapping on my freaking window, this gypsy. And I'm like, what? And so I'm on the phone with Terry Taylor, this freaking gypsy here. And he was like, you're so happy. He's like, you have so much happiness in you. You just need to continue to be happy. And I was like, wait, what? Like, what's going on? And I told Terry Taylor, look, let me call you back. There's this like guy here. I don't know. And so he starts telling me things about myself. And now look, I know about gypsies. I've lived amongst gypsies. And I also used to run around with some of Chris Angel's magician buddies. So I get it. I know the parlor tricks. But I swear to you, this guy was telling me things. I know this is the thing. Telling me things that no one would know, okay? And he was telling me things that I didn't even know at that time because he was giving me premonitions, I swear to goodness, Chad, about everything I'm feeling now. That's why I've been thinking about it. When he was like, whatever. And he goes, you know what he said? He goes, whatever you're famous for, one day, that's what's going to make you super famous. And so when I came on here and had my revelation about Batista, I started thinking about that fucking moment over there on Ventura Boulevard. That guy, that gypsy. And so what ended up happening is, I can't remember exactly, but he was pretty much like, gave me the vibe of, I had a crossroads and a choice. So which one are you going to make? Because either one's going to take me down a path of abundance. Different type of abundance, but abundance. So I'm driving back to my grandma's house, trying to process all this stuff, which is like an hour drive away. And when I pulled up to grandma's freaking driveway, Terry Taylor called me. He said, we do want you to come to the pay-per-view, bring the LAX stuff, and we'd like to offer you a contract to be with us for a year and manage LAX. And so I was just like, I got to take it. So I had to call the Playboy, and they were like, are you sure? Okay. And so that began my journey with TNA. But fast forward, it's been so much on my mind because of everything I've been experiencing and connecting the dots on me, whether it was the Batista thing and like people all of a sudden were like, oh, or it's the Janelle Grant thing. My words is what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's what that dude was telling me. My abundance is going to come out of sharing my experiencing, sharing my expertise to get it out there. And that's going to be my time. And that's why all of this just trips me the F out.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I mean, you have such a crazy life.
I know, like, dude.
Who says like I've had experience with gypsies? Like,
oh yeah, I grew up around gypsies all day. Like, oh yeah, because this is who I'm meant to be. I was supposed to know the way of the gypsy so I can survive the professional wrestling and entertainment world. Do you see what I'm saying here? That's why
I see it 100%.
It's like that's why I am the way I am. Going back to our like, getting a lot of traction. One of my friends, I don't want to say their name in case they want to be anonymous, but they were like, you know what? Good for you for saying this stuff and not backing down. And I'm thinking, what is he? And then he goes, you know what though? I know you're not even thinking about this. You don't even care. And I'm thinking, yeah. And he was like, because that's how you are. And it was so cool, even though I know that somebody that's been my friend for so many freaking years, and they went out of their way in their day to tell me to keep doing what I'm doing. What I'm doing is awesome. Do not let people get to me. And then to recognize, what am I talking about? Because it's a voice memo. You don't care. And it's like, there was times where when I get stuck in my depression and I've had bad moments and spiraling out, it's because I cared where I shouldn't have cared. And now I'm just like, especially with that, and that gypsy story, man, I can't tell you how many times throughout the years I drive by that area and I always think about it. I'm always like, man, dude. And it wouldn't always make sense to me, but now it all makes sense because it wasn't, he said abundance. It wasn't fame, fortune, whatever. Like having peace with Batista and Kevin Thorne. Oh my gosh, that is such a moment for me. Like OM to the G, to the fullest of what I've been carrying for so long. So when that dude used abundance as the prize, That's very specific. It wasn't, oh, you're going to go viral one day. And before viral was even a viral or anything, it was abundance, a more than that. And I think that's why people misunderstand me and they trip out on me and think that I'm like being all crazy. And it's like, dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah. No, I hear you. And again, like I feel the same way. I had talked to somebody close to me, and I said when I started this show, my goal was to get the show back out, or a show I'm working on back out there for people to see regularly, like whether it's in the sheets or on social media being shared, and not by me having to grind it out there and send out press releases and get it like this is organically shared and get it out. Man, I thought it would happen after week 1, and all it was because that's what I expect, because what we're doing is awesome. Just took a couple of weeks later, so that's my thought. Is that was my goal, and the goal was achieved. So take that off the list.
I'm sorry, but to bring it back. So saying all of that, that's why it annoys me about Master and his wife specifically. Because that's where I'm sitting at. And it's not like I'm losing sleep over it or whatever, but I'm very sensitive to energy. And I've been feeling weird energy be thrown my way. And that's why I keep calling it out, because if I deserve it, I deserve it. Like in this fact of like somebody was like, oh, this coming from somebody that sells videos of herself giving herself wedgies. And it's like, yeah. And I don't do that anymore. I stopped doing that because I realized that I was humiliating myself. And I didn't realize that at the time, because it's so on the low key mainstream around like female wrestling specifically, that you do customs. It's a thing. And so,
see, wait, and time out. I thought about that line because I heard you say that line on the show with Monty, right? I heard you talk about that, and I know how you feel. I'm not saying you should change your thought on how you feel about that, because I had a couple emotions. At first, I was perplexed, and then I was like thought-provoking, like, that's interesting that somebody would even ask about that. And then I was like, well, who the hell cares at this point? Because everything's on the table now. Nobody's got a filter when it comes to asking for things. So if they're asking for things and you oblige, then who the frig cares if that's how you do things? But you obviously now you feel more of a moral filter in accepting things versus denying things. So at first, I had never heard anybody talk about that before. So when you said it took me a minute to process it, and I went through a few range of emotions. It was perplexed, it was thought provoking, and then it was like, well, I guess if somebody wants it and somebody's willing to give it, and they're willing to pay for it, then if you do it, then what the hell? But
everything you just said, that's what I would tell myself. You see what I'm saying? That's what we all tell ourselves is, wait, what? Okay, whatever. He's paying for it. And like I've said before on the show, the key is I don't have to be topless or nude. It's not like I'm topless or nude. Again, there's anything wrong with that. You just
gotta walk funny for a little bit afterwards.
But it's like, here's the point. Here's my
oh, come on,
journey with it. Is when I would do these videos, let's use the wedgie one as an example. I thought I'm acting like an idiot the entire time. So it's like doing a low budget film, and I'm all about low budget films, like the cheesier.
We know, we saw, we watched the trailer.
So there's that, and then there's the, well, at least I'm not naked or nude, and it's not like a sexual thing. And then, oh well, if they're gonna pay for it, whatever. But then I'm like, dude, somebody is jacking off right now to this. And one of the things, because they tell on themselves, and I started to, because I would ask questions too to these different fetish people. I've asked questions to feet people, like, because I want to know, like, what is this? And why are you paying so much money for it? Like, I'm curious. So there was this dude who would always go on my live stream, especially when I had Periscope. Oh, I miss Periscope.
Oh my God, Periscope.
R.I.P. Periscope.
You just dated yourself horribly with
I don't
Periscope.
care. I loved Periscope. Oh my
There's
gosh,
people
I
listening
loved
to us that have
it.
no freaking clue what Periscope is.
Oh, it was awesome. You don't know what you're missing with the Periscope. Oh, anyways, RIP. So my Periscopes, all my live streams. And then he would always talk about wedgies. When's the last time you got a wedgie? When's the last time you gave somebody a wedgie? And so I started saying, like, why are you so obsessed? And then this person, this could be totally fake, like penthouse letters, right? But this person would tell me often that they'd be playing, it's a guy supposedly, which I believe, that they would hang out with their friend and they would be playing like video games or whatever. And then he would give his friend a wedgie. And he's like, "Oh, I gave my friend a wedgie." Da, da, da. And I'm like, "Does your friend know that's your fetish?" And they're like, "No." I go, "That's really creepy because if that's your fetish and you're putting your friend in that like position." So that was my whole comeback to this dude, right? But it put that thought. And so then I've had two different realizations at two different times in my life. The first time I quit doing customs, and then this last time. I didn't realize I was humiliating myself. I thought I was just acting like an idiot for some freaking dude to jerk off to some content, and I didn't want to think about the jerking off part, and I didn't have to be naked, so there you have it. That was the thought process behind it. And girls that do it, and I love them, and like whatever, they'd always tell me, "You think too much about it. You think too," and I'm like, "But I can't help it now. Like it's like I can't unsee it. It's kind of like in the Wizard of Oz. As soon as the freaking curtain was pulled back and you see it, there's no way you could go back." So for me, that's what it's been. And it's like, then I got mad. I'm like, dude, I've been humiliating myself. I've been humiliating myself. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And some dude's jerking off to his climax is for me to humiliate myself. And that's when I was like, fuck this. I am not doing this anymore. There's no way. So I can't turn it off. That's why I'm a failed OnlyFans model. And I retire from customs. But like, that's the thing. It's like these people don't know what they're talking about when they're trying to shame me because they don't realize all the layers that go into it. It's not just me being like, I'm hard up for some money, so I'm going to give myself a wedgie. That's not it.
If they said that, it would be great, though. If they said it just like that, that would be great. I want to clip that. That's a clipper right there. But okay, I said this way back, maybe about 3 weeks ago. So you're not going to do it anymore, but Susie Q Housewife is going to do it because they think that's an easy way to make money. So you've stopped. You've got a history of actual, real professional modeling. Could go into a real studio with a real photographer with real lighting and real set design. And Susie Q Housewife is going to go in her bedroom with her home goods and Marshalls, curtains and bedspread. And she's going to take her pictures with her digital camera that she bought, and she's going to post that up, and she'll get 25 followers or whatever, and she'll make a couple $100 doing that, maybe, and probably going further. And her stuff's never probably going to get shared out there because she's a nobody, but you've got a name, and whatever you sell to somebody, even though you put a disclaimer out there, it's private, it's for you, blah, blah, it's got a shot of being put out on the internet. So there's more than just you don't like doing it for the moral reasons. Just because you're selling it privately doesn't mean it's just going to go up in a Google search at some point. So to me, you want to stop, but it's never going to stop. It's going to continue to live out just like anything you've done in the past. If I type in Shelly Martinez WWE, it's not just your WWE stuff you've done. It's everything that you've done.
Everything. And I hate that. Here's the thing. A couple of things. I went on vacation in 2014 in Costa Rica, and I had such an amazing time. And one of the dudes that like lived in the little village there, the people I went with, he was like, "Oh, we're going to go and I'm going to go to the market, which is like at the bottom of the mountain we're at. Do you guys need anything? I can get it for you." And so I was like, emailing with him because there's no reception really up there for like phone calls or whatever. Right. So on my email, it said like my website, my handle, like as my signature. Right. So when I went to go meet up with him to give him the money and get the groceries, he was like, oh, because we're talking about music, we love music. He's like, oh, have you heard this song? And he got his laptop, and I noticed this film I did that was a horror movie and I'm topless in was like there. And I was like,
Oh.
oh. And the thing is, I don't blame people for looking me up. Like family members or Metal Jesus's family, like of course you're gonna look. I get it. And that's why I'm like, oh man, some of this stuff, this freaking sucks, but like it is what it is. And that's why I like to be out in the open, because when it's people in my private life, if they catch wind that I talk about this publicly, it relieves me, for it's like at least they can't be like shaming me. So there's that whole thing. But anyways, that's what taught me, like, oh my gosh, like people look and I pop up because I've done specifically WWE. And it made me very, very aware. And at that point, I hadn't shot in topless or nude for a really long time, because I was like, oh, it needs to be private, just between me and whoever I'm with, like keep something for them. But that's when I was like, no, it's a hard no now, because like that's not like I'm not cool with that, even when you try to scrub it or whatever. And then I saw recently there was a post that there was a female wrestler that got upset that a fan brought a printed out leaked
Yeah.
photo,
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a
and then
big
I was like,
story.
dude, I've had that happen to me and whatever. And then the comments, oh, when it's consensual and you're posting it online and they print it out, and it's like, dude, these people, they like no boundaries. There was this time where somebody brought over to me something to sign that I didn't want to sign. And then the promoter guy that brought me in, like, really hammered it into me that I needed to sign it, because the guy had a bunch of stuff that he like printed out. Now, yeah, it was old modeling stuff or whatever, and I hated it. And I even told the guy, I said, when I took this photo right here, it triggered me when my grandpa used to sexually abuse me, just so you know. He's like, oh, okay. He didn't care. He didn't care. Like, I was that transparent. He didn't care.
He
So
just shook that one off, huh? That didn't even
yeah.
hit the radar.
And then that promoter, whatever. So then fast forward to this chick saying this. I also know how it feels to have, being that I was a hard no topless or nude, no nips, no vag. That was always my rule. Like since like the last time I shot like that, I think it was like 2010 maybe. So I hate this because like now people are gonna go look for it. It's part of the story though. So what are you gonna do? There's two photos that circulate of me being topless. And I'm here to tell you, it was either, because I can't remember which boyfriend it was. It was either one of my long distance boyfriends, someone got into his phone, or the wrestling school that I was with. And I took those pictures there. They had a camera and they did it. One of the three is who it is. And I hate it. And I've tried to scrub it from the internet because that makes me feel so violated that I said, no more. I'm reclaiming my body. No more nips, no more vag. This is private, private, private. And those two photos, no matter how many times I pay to get for it to get scrubbed, they show right back up, and it pisses me off to no end. It's one of those three people.
Hmm. Well, that's terrible.
I know.
That's something I obviously don't know how to sympathize with that, but it sucks.
So don't
You have
take
to pay
topless
for that?
photos and put them online, Chad. I know you were
Well,
thinking about it.
I'm not gonna lie. I told you about that Home Goods and Marshalls
You
bed
know
front. I
the
don't know too
setup.
much about that. But okay, so the wrestler that commented on that autograph, if you recall, there was a very famous leak probably 10 years ago at this point, maybe a little bit less. I don't know if she was a part of it. I know there were a couple wrestlers that were involved in the leak. And who would have the balls to bring that up at a signing? And like no self-awareness to bring that up at a signing. I mean, these guys are just freaking idiots. But I just don't remember if she was involved in the leak and that's how it got out at that point. Because again, there was a couple wrestlers. I'm not going to name the names. Because again, I'm not going to have people going to look for it. But I saw that story flowing out there. I saw your comment on X. And it's again, that's the moral of the story. These things, they're evil in a way. And if they get in the wrong hands and you've got something on there, it's all over.
I'm going to say this. there was an overlap because I had a boyfriend in 2013, and then late at like the beginning of the year, and then we broke up in Costa Rica in August. And
What a place
then
to break up.
I know it's okay. We just realized we weren't for each other. It's not like no one cheated or anything like that. We're just like,
Sorry to hear
oh,
that.
it's fine. And then
Oh, okay.
I don't know
Oh,
if you're
wow.
aware of that era of Shelly.
I am not. I was gonna say I thought I might have had the game show. Bum, 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 bum. I don't have that.
So there was him, and then
I spent a little bit of time around him, but nothing to write home about. I'll give you this.
he was my Biff. He was
How's
my
that?
Biff. Okay, can you see Biff in him?
I could. Oh,
Mhm.
I could absolutely see
Biff,
that. Absolutely,
Biff.
yeah.
That's my Biff fetish. And then so we broke up in August, and then December of 2013 is when I had my last wrestling boyfriend. And so I don't remember if it was that one earlier in the year or the one at the end of the year that I sent these two photos at, but the common denominator is I used to go to this one wrestling school, and they had wrestling shows every weekend at their spot, and that's where I took these photos. So, and there's been time I remember one of them, I was in the bathroom, and then when I did it, because these were long distance boyfriends, I was just trying to like, be like, hey, don't forget about me, don't cheat. Like, so
Yeah.
when I did the one in the bathroom, I remember when I put my bra down, I heard a guy go, holy shit. So I was like, is there a camera watching me? So I don't know. Maybe it was a coincidence, but it was one of those sources. Or if someone got into one of those dudes' phones, that whoever the boyfriend was that got the photo.
Okay, do you really feel like you know who it was though? Like,
It could have been either dude. Do you know
yep.
that was my last wrestling boyfriend?
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I interviewed him at some
Ugh.
point. And I don't know. Oh, you know what? No, I'll tell you what. He wanted money for the interview before people asking for money was a thing for the interview. Probably 12 years ago.
He was a nobody. He's still a nobody.
That's
What are
why.
you talking
That's what
about?
was funny about it. I mean, there I go, interviewing Dusty and Bruno and all these guys, and then he was
What a
asking for money.
loser.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is there was this time, it was shortly after I broke up with him because he cheated on me. And somebody tweeted me, and I've tried throughout the years to find it. I just can't. Somebody tweeted me, are you still dating that pathetic white boy? So me and my friends, whenever we refer to that dude, we call him pathetic white boy. Not my words. So it was one of those two. And so I could see it being more a pathetic white boy move than the other one. But you never know. And then I know that the other one also, I could see him being like, look what Shelly sent me, and like someone getting the whole. So I don't know. So I don't know. So it's either one of.
It's never going to stop. People are going to do it.
It's never going to stop.
People do it forever. I mean, look, there's a certain type of like gratification you get by receiving it, I'm sure, but it's never going to stop. But if it falls into the wrong hands, you are fucked.
Oh my goodness.
So.
I know. I was just trying to be a good long distance freaking girlfriend. And that's why it violates me, because that wasn't consensual. It was for one person to see, one person only. And it makes me want to throw up. And it makes me want to throw up and fight somebody if there was a hidden camera. And that's what these pictures came from that school, because that is not cool.
Man, is Master Amir gonna judge you so hard?
Oh, God forbid. And the wife. Let's not forget about the wife.
Oh, they're gonna judge you. You gonna get judged, girl. It's gonna
go
be
ahead
bad.
And judge me. And go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, follow
comment,
button.
like, subscribe. Get on over to the Shelly Martinez YouTube channel where you're watching this. I have people ask me when I'm talking about TMI, they say, can I find it on Spotify? Can I find it on Apple Podcasts? And I go, look, the only place to find it is right here on YouTube. But if you have YouTube Music, you have the option to listen to it as a podcast. And that, to me, is phenomenal. We've received over 22,000 views on YouTube Music just from the TMI playlist. So go ahead, if you want to listen to it as a podcast, get YouTube Music, however you want to download it. I get it as part of my YouTube Premium, so no ads, and listen to TMI as a regular old standard podcast. And that's the way you can consume it. Otherwise, the full videos, the clips that we give you is like the preview clips, the shorts, Shelly's little short clips and previews as well. Everything on the Shelly Martinez channel on YouTube. This is only getting bigger. Okay. The march to 10,000 subscribers is on. I mean, it is here and beyond for TMI. Is there anything else I could say about the channel before I give my plugs?
No, not at all. Just stay tuned. I have a lot of really cute things I'm going to be recording later today for YouTube and all the social media. So just go to shellymartinez.net/links, and you can find everything you need there.
Okay. And if you want to follow me, it's at Chad EMB on X, at IB Exclusives on Instagram. Get on over also to the Get My Go channel on YouTube. Check out the past episodes as well as the last episode that we recorded that is just absolutely insane. If you like the craziness it is the Get My Go universe. So we will get out of here for episode 9, march our way to episode 10, and we will try to ruffle a few more feathers in the process. So for the Vampire Queen, this is your old buddy, the Chadster. We will catch you on the flip side.